Hey, you guys, how's it going? I hope everything is going well in your world. Um, so apologies for not being around. I have some stuff going on, which I'll talk about in a little bit. But anyway, I start getting messages from people when I haven't like posted a video for a while. So I really appreciate that. And thank you for noticing that I haven't been around, but wanted to make sure everybody who participated in my last two live sales, want to make sure everybody is aware that your packages were picked up yesterday by the post office and they are officially on their way to you. I want to explain that when I have a lot of stuff that I need to pack, um, it's difficult for me to do it all in one day. And so, um, yeah, so some of you emailed me because, you got a message that your package was on its way. But then when you clicked on the tracking, you saw that it hadn't like moved for days. And so I wanted to let you know that sometimes I print the label, but your package doesn't actually get picked up until I finish packing everything. So I hope that makes sense. So like one day I'll do like maybe 7 or 8 people's stuff, which means I print the label as I go, and I don't change the ship date. Sometimes I forget to change the ship date, and because I don't know like what day it's actually going to get picked up, because I can't really say until after I have everything packed, because I don't take these packages to the post office. I have them come pick them up. It's too much for me to take them. So anyway, so some of you got messages that your order had shipped, but then it hadn't moved for like a week. And so anyway, I hope that makes sense. I just want you to know that everything got picked up yesterday. And apologies for, I guess I'll just tell you now what has been going on. So anyway, I am going to talk about these journals, I promise. And I get it. Like people probably don't want to hear about a lot of, personal stuff, but um my brother passed away, and not this last Saturday, but the Saturday before. So it's been about 10 days. And some of you may remember me talking about my brother I think I've talked about him in a couple of different live streams, like live sales or something. And my brother was homeless, and the last I knew, he was living in California somewhere. I thought he was somewhere near Sacramento or something like that, because that's the last thing I had ever heard. And he my brother had been in a serious car accident when he was 16, and he's a year older than me. So, and he's my only sibling, but he was in a serious car accident and had a head injury. So it affected his short-term memory, his like some of his fine motor skills, and some of his other motor skills. So like his balance and things like that. So anyway, through that whole thing, took him years to recover from that, and he never fully recovered. He always had, problems, but he started using drugs and got addicted to different drugs. I don't really even know what, but um he had a son, and he was married, not married, but he was with his son's mom for a number of years, maybe 5 years, 4 or 5 years, and they raised him together. And then stuff happens, and he probably drugs and alcohol. They split up, and it was kind of downhill from there. Like anyway, he there were a number of times through his life where I um, took him in, tried to help him out, and we would wind up in these big, huge fights, and he would steal from me or he stole from my kids. And he was just really not a very pleasant person to be around at all. And couldn't have him in my home with my kids. So anyway, so he just wound up moving on and never came back to Spokane because he had warrants for his arrest because of domestic stuff with his ex. So he never wanted to come back to Spokane. So that was never anything that he was willing to do. My mom and I even talked about letting him move in here, but he didn't want to. And this was years and years ago. Anyway, so apparently he was in Phoenix and Phoenix, Arizona, and he was in a wheelchair at that point. He had become wheelchair bound, apparently. And I literally haven't spoken to him for more than 10 years. Okay. So anyway, he was picked up by an ambulance, had fallen over in the street or somehow, and was taken into the hospital in an ambulance. They didn't really know what was wrong with him. He was able to speak and gave his name and that kind of stuff. And somehow, I don't know even how, he was able to provide my mom's name, and they were able to find her phone number. And so they called her to tell her that he was in the hospital. She decided not to share that with me. Don't don't know why she didn't tell me that. But anyway, that was like the Thursday before he passed. And they took him into surgery to try to figure out what was wrong, because his blood work was just really messed up. And they found that he had a major blockage in his intestines, and his lower intestine and colon had become completely like impacted, and blood supply was cut off, and had ruptured. And so I'm sure you can imagine what happens after that happens. So his basically his whole body cavity, like everywhere in his body, was filled with um, waste. So there was nothing they could do to save him and to help him. So they called my mom again after the surgery, and she apparently told them to just let him pass and make him comfortable. So that's what happened, and he passed on Saturday. Um, and then I don't know why or how it came about, but my son Sebastian wound up calling me and asking me if I'd heard about my brother. And I said, no, what's up? What, did he die? And he said, yeah, you need to talk to grandma. So anyway, so I finally talked to my mom, and it was difficult to get a straight story from her. So I wound up calling the hospital and speaking to them, and got information from the surgeon, what had happened. And so I was pretty upset that, first of all, I didn't know that he was even in the hospital and was never given an opportunity to say goodbye to him. And so it's just been really hard because, like I said, he was my only brother, and I didn't know that he was in that situation. And I know it wouldn't have made any difference, but I would have really appreciated being able to even just on the phone tell him goodbye and that I loved him, you know. So, sorry. So, it's just been really difficult because I'm dealing with this stuff with my mom, and I don't want to say, I'm not a doctor, but dementia is real, alcoholism is real, and it affects your brain after a certain point. So so there's that. And my mom basically doesn't really even live here anymore. She lives with her boyfriend now. So I'm here in this gigantic house by myself, and I'm not asking for sympathy. I'm just trying to explain to you guys that stuff is hard. And so to get my mind off of a lot of that stuff, trying to pack orders from the live sales and also try to make some journals so that I can make a living. Um, I've been trying to do some artwork also and have some great ideas about doing some fun stuff with paint and paper. Um, anyway, so that's it. Okay, I needed to tell you guys that because I think it's I wanted to share also that homeless people are viewed often as invisible and as less than worthy of love and compassion. And my brother died a horrible death. Like his life was a tragedy after his car accident. It was just, it was just really a tragic situation. And so I just want you to keep that in mind when you're going about your life and you see homeless people on the street or living in tent cities and things like that they're real people and they have families, they have mothers and sisters and children and grandchildren. And you know I'm not suggesting that we um open our wallets and give everybody money, but I just want people to start maybe understanding that sometimes people choose to live that life, but often they don't feel they have another choice. And so that's why they make that choice. And they say that that's their choice. But um, sometimes mental illness and, just whatever their story is, sometimes we need to not pass judgment. I mean, always we need to not pass judgment, but understand that, they're people. So if you're able to help any kind of, homeless shelters or, even volunteer in any kind of way over the coming holiday season, um, consider it because there's a lot of children that are also in that situation. And yeah, so that's my story. And so we're going to have him cremated and hopefully I'll be able to get his remains and we'll have a memorial for him. And, you know, anyway. So, okay. So I made some journals and I've had these covers. These were like children's school notebooks, okay? Uh French children's school notebooks, and most of them are from the 30s. Like I was able to find dates in a lot of them and like 30s, 1937, 1938. So that was pretty cool. Um to put a date on them. And anyway, so I had purchased these from Louise quite a while ago, and I've been kind of doling out, selling out the pages from these over the last few months, and hanging on to the covers because this is what I wanted to do, and I'm really glad that I finally got around to doing it. And it was really nice to have a project to work on. So anyway, so the covers were pretty thin, like just paper, excuse me, like construction paper type weight paper. And so it was really kind of almost deteriorating. So I had to glue it down onto something just to stabilize it. And I just used file folders. And so that was great because they're still semi-flexible. Um, so glued them down onto some file folder. And I did it, so this is the bottom of the file folder. Added some paper to strengthen that spine area. Added I think I did a couple layers of like a really thin uh, chipboard onto the spine to make it, more sturdy and thicker. Um, and then I bound these with elastic. I've developed some pretty heavy arthritis in my hands, and binding books has become really painful for me lately. So this is really the easiest way for me to bind books is using elastic and just putting putting eyelets in. So, I mean, I can do it, but to bind, 12 books is a big undertaking, and I suffer for it for a couple days. Anyway, let me take a sip of coffee. And one day I will hire somebody to edit all my videos so they look really sexy and great, Not in the cards yet. Anyway, so there was 12 of them. Um one one is a little bit different. This one was actually a book. But um so so um what was I saying? File folder. And then just lined the inside with uh some of that really pretty wrapping paper. Anyway, so there's two pretty heavy, pretty thick signatures in each one. But I like binding this way because I love that you can take pages out and rearrange things. You can use these papers in other projects, in other journals, or whatever. And it just makes it more, what should I say? More, more better. Versatile, that's the word. Anyway, so what's in here? Oh my gosh, I'm rambling. So cardstock, this is not cardstock. I mean cardstock weight scrapbook papers. I also have rearranged my whole studio and got rid of a whole bunch of stuff after the live sale, and rearranged and anyway, so more on that later. But so I've gone through my scrapbook papers and pulled out my absolute favorites, that I've been hoarding, and I've used a lot of them in these journals. So just saying. Some writing paper, children's writing paper, onion skin, vintage onion skin paper. This is a page from one of the original notebooks, and I didn't want to cut it, so I just folded it in. Some watercolor paper. This is like I think it's Canson watercolor paper. Um, ledger paper, onion skin, and then I did some big pages of ledger, some envelopes. So I made these into upside down pockets like I always do. Some more. So this scrapbook paper, this is the what's it called? Craft Consortium uh line of paper. And it's not Christmas, but it's like woodland creatures or whatever. And I thought this was perfect because it's like fall and coming into Christmas. And so, but if you don't like that kind of theme or whatever, you can just take that page out. So just saying. More ledger, lots of ledger pages in here. Um, okay, so that's pretty much just the other side of what I just showed you. And then I did a bundle of, these are like offcuts of different scrapbook papers, and I went through them like it was a huge tray of offcuts. So like, with a 12 by 12 and you're cutting down pages, you wind up with this like 3-inch like strip that you can't do anything with except for, well, you can do stuff with it, but so you save those and eventually you have like 2,000 of them. Anyway, so I went through all of them, and then some of my smaller scrapbook pads, like the 6x6 ones, and I pulled out papers that I felt really jive with the sort of vibe of these journals, these notebooks. And so like just patterns that I felt were unobtrusive, okay, and useful, like things that you could write on to make journaling cards, or that you could put photos on or whatever. I didn't take the time to round all the corners on these. I just, most of them are cardstock. Some are not. I can't get those apart. Anyway, but I try to stay with the same kind of color themes that with this whole like collection, you know? So like I didn't put any Christmas papers or anything like that in here. But yeah, so just you see what I mean? They're all sort of almost like a family of different papers. And I like to include some black because there's black on the spines of the notebooks. So anyway, black goes with everything, right? So let's see if I can get this back in here now. So uh I just put a bundle of this paper in each journal. Okay, and just tucked it into the center in between the signatures. Added a few labels. I didn't go overboard on adding labels because I didn't know, what you might want to use your pages for. Um, I love this little ledger paper. And then this is just like a shipping envelope. And I just opened it, cut it open partially on the side and the top to make a pocket. More ledger. It's basically more of the same. But and then this is the napkin that I spray glued to cardstock that mentioned at one point in a video. Um anyway, just added a couple little labels because I love labels. Anyway, and just some pretty papers. So and then I went around and around about what kind of closure to do. And I didn't think I had any hitch posts, but I did. Like, I forgot that I had ordered a whole bunch. And anyway, so I did a hitch post. I added a kind of a reinforcement like circle on there. This is like that lightweight chipboard. I think it's like 22 point or something. Just to make sure that this is strong enough, to hold. So the elastic is long enough that you can actually, lengthen it if you need to. You can make it your loop a little longer if you need to. Okay. Um, and yeah, so that's just with a couple little eyelets in the back. And then each of them has like the multiplication tables and stuff on the back. I think pretty much all of them do. Yeah, in some one form or another. I guess this one doesn't, but this one is so cool. That one's probably my favorite. But um anyway, I did not clear coat these. I was going to for protection reasons, but then I thought you guys might want to write on the covers. You might want to put your name and stuff on these or maybe a date and so I just left that up to you. If you want to clear coat them, you can. And you can figure out, how to do that, but it wouldn't be complicated. I mean, you would just take a piece of like any kind of paper really, or, you know, cardboard or something, open up your book, slide something under the front and back cover, um, and then just give it a spray. And you could even just use fixative or something like that. I wouldn't recommend like painting any kind of coating on it. I would recommend a spray if you want to, coat these. But yeah, so there's 12 of them altogether. So this one's kind of grungy, like you can see um and it's paper, so there really isn't any way for me to clean it up, but it's history, it's got, some fingerprints and that kind of stuff. But yeah, this one is beautiful. I love it. And then I did put a label on the spine because that just says, French book to me. Anyway, and then this one's a pink, peachy kind of pink color. It's more peach than pink, I would say. There's a blue. These are all these are all the same design, just different, excuse me, just different colors. Okay, and this one's definitely orange, a light orange. This one has a little bit different pattern. Um, and then these two um are more like technical kind of looking, definitely like Art Deco though, you know, the pattern. And then here's another one like this. And oh, here's another one that is more kind of technical. Oh, I love the back of this one. So cool. Anyway, what's the back of it? Yeah, these have multiplication tables. This one, and this one are my favorites, probably. And then this green one. I like this green one. Now, it has a little bit of a crease right here. Um, and I wasn't able to get it out when I glued it onto it was a pretty serious crease. So I wasn't able to completely get it flat, but it's, it is what it is. So, and then this one was a math book. Um, and it just happened to be the same size as these, so I just went ahead and made it into one of these guys, Um, I had some issues when I had some issues with the spine, so I just, wound up kind of mending it with you know, some funky fabric, cheesecloth, and some washi tape. So anyway, so this one also same stuff inside though. Okay. Fun colors. Yeah, so there's 12 of them all together. And I plan to do a very simple charm on these, probably on the front. These aren't completely finished yet. I mean, they're pretty much done, but um, I'm not selling on Etsy anymore. So uh, that was hard to say, but really kind of getting away from Etsy. And not just because they shut down my shop, but if I wanted to reopen my shop, I would. But I feel like the only reason that I have an Etsy shop is to use it for checkout, you know? And so, like, really, nobody buys anything off of my Etsy shop except for my digital things. But I mean, those are like $2, like I make $1 on those. So it's really not worth it to me to do it. It's so the only thing that I ever really sell in there are journals that I'm basically marketing through my YouTube channel. Nobody finds my journals on there just from like searching on Etsy. So really it's only used as like a checkout, you know? And then Etsy makes all this money and they didn't even do anything. Like they didn't even help people find my stuff. So I don't know. So I just don't want to do that anymore. So I'm going to do them through PayPal. And that's where it gets complicated because I can't do listings on PayPal. So the only way I can do it is really on YouTube. I could do an eBay shop, but I haven't really wanted to pull the trigger on eBay yet. So more on that later too. But anyway, so what I'm thinking about doing is, first of all, if you're interested in one of these, um, you can send me an email and you can reserve one. And I'll say like a $40 deposit will reserve one of these for you. So just let me know kind of like what color you like. Or like if you want the math book one. Um, you can identify which one you want. You know what I mean? So you could do like this one is a daffodil pattern. So it would be like blue or pink. This one is like a very pale lavender color. And then this would be like a rose pattern because that's like a climbing rose. So you could say like, I want a green rose pattern. So there's green, pink, blue, pale blue. This is a daffodil. This is orange. So you could identify this one as the novelty one, and it's like gray. This one would be the math book, and then this would be the technical drawing one, and then these would be I would call these Art Deco style. So this would blue or green. Okay. So you could identify them that way. If you want to send me an email, I'll hold one for you for a $40 deposit. And then what I would like to do is whatever is left by, let's say, Sunday, this coming Sunday, um, if there's any that are still available, I'll do a live sale and see if anybody wants them at that point. And so what I'm going to do, and I think this will be kind of fun. So I'll take the journals and whatever, whoever, lets me know that they want one. I hope you guys were able to get through the beginning of my video, but um so I'm going to add some stuff in kind of as a bundle along with these. And I thought I have a whole bunch of Christmas cards that I made last year. And so I'm going to add one of my handmade Christmas cards. These were so fun to make. And I'll probably do some more of these. I need to look at them all again and get inspired. But make some more, or I'll add one of my Christmas cards into each one. So pretty. I really do need to do some more Christmas cards. These were fun. Maybe we'll do some of those together. Um, yeah. There's this one. I really like that, like pale green. And it's so fun using my metallic watercolors on these. So, and the blue. This one's a neat, like greens and pale grays, and some purple. So there's those. I don't know how many of these there are. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10. So there's 10. And then there's these Christmas cards, ornaments. There's a wreath. It's hard to see the color. And then the little snowman, little church, little log cabin, another wreath, another wreath. I love painting those wreaths. And then these are more like springtime kind of designs, just with like flowers and that kind of stuff. Anyway, so cards. So I'll add some cards. At least 2 cards, okay? Like depending on how many I have that I can split up, okay? So I'll give you a couple of cards. These are just like gift tag size. So anyway, we'll go through the big ones first. So you get a couple of cards, and then I've also got a whole stack of invoices. These are French invoices. So I'll go through these, add a couple invoices. I've got some more pages out of the notebooks that I'll add into each bundle. And then these are also school books from France. So I'll add a couple pages out of these. These are so fun. I love them. This is one. These are different. These are more like penmanship books, and they're all blank. Like none of them have really ever been written in, but these are great. Really beautiful. Another one. This one's all full of writing. Then there's this little math book. So I guess I'm just saying that I'll add in some school book pages, and then I've got just this whole bag full of like different ephemera stuff. Okay, like some smaller invoices and that kind of stuff. So that'll be kind of like a surprise bundle of ephemera with each bundle. So I thought it would be fun to do that on Sunday on a live stream or live sale, and um add the ephemera to each journal until someone claims it and buys it. So how's that sound? Is that complicated? I don't know. So if you want one, if you want to make sure that you get one, send me an email with and tell me which one you want. Pretty sure. So give me your top 3 choices, okay? If you don't care, then say you don't care which one you get. But give me your top 3 choices, and whoever's emails come in first, your choice will be prioritized. Make sense? Yeah, so like you would say, I want the purple daffodil first choice, blue rose second choice, math book third choice. Okay, so just tell me what your top 3 choices are, or even just like what color is your top choice, or like a color that you absolutely don't want. Just help me figure out which one you want. I'm sure you can figure it out. Anyway, so my email address is in the description on the video, and I will confirm with you um, as soon as I can when your email comes in. I'll confirm with you that you're good, and then I'll send you an invoice in my reply. So you'll get a link to an invoice in that reply. I need that to be paid. It's got to get paid. And I'll let you know. I'm thinking like total price on these will be about $85, something like that. Okay. So the deposit is like half. All right. So then once they're all done after the live sale, then you'll get another invoice that will cover your shipping and the remainder on the journal. Okay? Okay. So let's do that. Anyway, sorry about, being emotional and maybe oversharing or whatever. But I think you guys know me by now, and the 800 people that actually watch my videos of my subscribers understand, and they sort of know like how I am. Anyway, so there's the pile, and I like to pile them all up. Let's see, like that. Okay. I love you guys so much, and I really appreciate your support and your concern. And there's a couple people that I told about my brother, um, that are also like in our community. And so to those people, thank you very, very much, Carla, for being here for me. I do appreciate it, and for checking on me. I'm okay. I'm okay. It's just a hard thing to go through, and I did not expect to have the emotional um response to this. I mean, like I said, I have not seen my brother for 15 years probably, and did not expect that I would feel the way I do. So, go figure. Anyway, I love you guys, and take care. I'll see you on Sunday. I'm going to schedule a live stream, and I promise I'll come this time. I had a live stream scheduled last week, and I fell asleep, and I totally spaced it out. So Laura, you're slacking on the job. Anyway, no, I'm just kidding. Okay, love you guys. See you soon. Okay, bye for now.